Every time I wanted to give up or think that it's time for me to close shop, something crazy happens or something happens where it keeps me going. There are times when there is a little procrastination in me. I look around and usually my area is disheveled somehow. Something is out of order. We have to be more aware of our psyche, our mental, our physical. The longer you procrastinate, you hold back your purpose. And the longer you hold back your purpose, you hold back your happiness. You got to have integrity. You have to have respect, and you have to be able to connect with people. I believe we are creatures of absorption. If you keep on absorbing high vibrations only, and you keep seeing that message all the time, you have no choice but to elevate.
You are welcome to Spot On with StephREDD.
How are you, StephREDD, today?
I am fantastic. In Spot On with StephREDD, we talk about different topics, just different issues.
There's a form of artist in everyone.
I love to be very independent.
And the recognition of the genius that we are and who we are.
I sound very smart, but I have zero education.
I always learn something from everybody I work with.
To see how we can embrace new perspectives and, quite importantly, be able to progressively evolve with the fullness of who we are, the fullness of our genius.
When you are living a fulfilled life, that means that's the feedback loop that you are on the right path.
When you can give value to someone, that's your greatest gift to the world, and that's when people will listen to you.
And then begin to impact our world with that genius, one person at a time. Hello everyone, you're welcome to another episode of Spot On with StephREDD. And I am StephREDD, super delighted to be here again. And today I have another genius guest. I always have the privilege of sharing conversations with geniuses and, quite importantly, getting everyone to realize that we all have our respective geniuses, and it's important that we begin to show from the fullness of that and impact our world with the fullness of it. And today's genius is Joy. Joy is the visionary founder of Be the Difference Clothing. In August 2013, she embarked on her entrepreneurial journey fueled by the passion to inspire others by creating designs that resonate with personal experiences and societal situations, thereby making her designs powerful narratives that ignite the need for change, provoke critical thought, and instill self-belief. Be the Difference Clothing was birthed from a eureka moment in time, and the commitment to keep it alive is driven by the desire to offer social support. It is not just a brand, it is a platform for discussions, a source of light-hearted playfulness, and a universal language that transcends age, race, and beliefs. Beyond the apparel, Joy has expanded her reach through presentations, workshops, and the creation of insightful quotes books. Her mission is to foster a deep understanding of the profound messages behind each design, and her ultimate anticipation is to be a source of inspiration that encourages individuals to apply the wisdom shared. In today's episode, Joy will be sharing insights on overcoming procrastination with a unique perspective on how her journey as an entrepreneur intertwines with the universal challenge of delaying progress. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever it is that you are, give it up, put your hands together for Joy. Tick, 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 tick. How are you, Joy?
Oh my goodness, that was like the best intro ever. Like I was like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking about? Oh, that's me. I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It
You're
makes me feel so
welcome.
much more interesting.
It's my pleasure. So now let's dive into it, Joy. What's your philosophy about business? Do you have any?
You got to have integrity. You have to have respect, and you have to be able to connect with people. We pride ourselves with integrity because what we say is how we stand by it. Even though it may sound crazy, we have to stand by what we say because we're starting to set a precedent and an example for people to model after. And it's like the last of the Mohegans that we're trying not to be the last anymore. It's like we all need to go back into our thinking process and remind ourselves that without integrity, Nobody's going to really take you seriously. And with integrity, not only do they take you seriously, but they respect you. And a lot of people do not understand, or we fail to realize that being respected is way more important than any monetary gain that we could possibly have. You know what I mean? Respect takes you a very long way versus just, oh, that's, whatever, you know? So I believe with the procrastination portion that you were talking about, just put it this way. The longer you procrastinate, you hold back your purpose. And the longer you hold back your purpose, you hold back your happiness. The longer you hold back your happiness, the more you stay stuck in a position that does not fit you or the people that are supposed to benefit from what you do. So the longer you procrastinate, you're just really hurting yourself, no one else.
I was actually hoping to push that to later, but I say, hey, since you touched on it now, if I move my thoughts, I may forget. So let me just talk about it. Why exactly do you tell me about that procrastination story? So we're going to go like, okay, we're just going to go zigzag and just flow somehow. But that procrastination story, interestingly, I was thinking about it 2 days ago. There was something I needed to do, and I realized that I had delayed on it. And when I was really sitting with the thought of why did I delay on it, which is also, I was also tracking on other things that I had done in the last minute. It was because in the moment, it's either I saw it as too overwhelming to do. So I say, you know what? I can't deal with this now. Let me push it to later. Or I wasn't sure I had the right words. Say I wanted to write a letter, or I needed to write an article. And like, oh, this is so overwhelming. Where do I start from? What thoughts do I put first? Okay, you know what? Maybe it will come to me later. And I leave it. The thing now is the more you leave it, you're never quite sure whether you would even get it right when you eventually want to do it. So why not just sit with it? That is me tracking the reason why I procrastinate. And I realize that it's sometimes from a place of uncertainty of what to do, overwhelm of the volume of what to do, fear of what needs to be done. So the easiest way is to push to later. And it doesn't quite make it easier. That's my own analysis of the reasons why I realize I procrastinate, and that is me coming true and vulnerable to myself. What is your story about procrastination?
Thankfully, my parents raised me to like do it, just do it. And when there are times when there is a little procrastination in me, I look around and usually my area is disheveled somehow. Something is out of order. And we have to be more aware of our psyche, our mental, our physical. And it doesn't fit right when I'm not feeling 100% in. Like, let's just say, for example, a form of procrastination could be like if I'm not up to par with my fitness level, you know, and that will affect other parts of my life. And it affects, your brain. It affects how you think. Also, like if something is out of order, if my bedroom is out of order, the bathroom is out of order, the kitchen is out of order, there must be some type of chaos. And within that chaos, procrastination will lie. And I don't want that a part of my life. So I make a very concerted effort to see what's going on, reevaluate what's going on. A lot of it has to do with thinking. You know what I mean? Like we have to think more and speak less, when it comes to our lives and understand that this life is not about our own. We're not supposed to be here. Like you and I are supposed to be here because we're bouncing off of each other and learning and growing in different ways. So if I didn't do what I was supposed to do many years ago, we wouldn't be here right now.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I trust that this will also be some level of awakening to anyone that has found themselves stuck procrastinating and don't know how to get themselves out of it. So I would like you to tell me more about the Be the Difference clothing. When was that specific moment in time, or probably a series of events, or what was that specific moment in time, or a series of events that led to the creation of the brand of Be the Difference clothing?
It's definitely a series. Like life is nothing but a series. I had been managing a Christian rap artist, and um, that dissolved. And once that dissolved, I was going to the gym 7 days a week. Within going to the gym 7 days a week,
Like
I was
like months, Sundays to Saturdays.
Sunday to Sunday. Every day I was there, we
Here
said
I am
every
saying I do 6 days a week and I'm crazy. Really? 7 days a week?
7 days. It was no break whatsoever. And I used to go home and have Snickers bars and chocolate. So like one day it was on my soul and on my spirit to make that admission because here I am, a poster child of health. Everybody sees me in the gym. Everybody knows my work ethic at the gym. And to think you're supposed to be that healthy, eating bars like Nutrigrain bars, no, not Nutrigrain bars, but just eating the healthy bars, right? And once I made that admission that I go home, I work hard, and I snack harder, that was something after I put that down, someone from my family was like, "You should make that a shirt." And I was like, "Okay." And that is how the company was born first. So I was like, I can't just do one thing and just go on, just that's it. The other event that happened that actually catapulted into the delivery of Be the Difference clothing was I was driving home from an event and um, I happened to see someone on the corner. Like this is us. This is my face, right? Let's just say this is my face, and this is the front of my body. Well, they were bent backwards like this, so their head was facing the kneecap, and they were swaying. I had never seen anything like that in my life. It scared me, but the one thing that hit me the most was I know when they were a toddler, they never grew up expecting or anticipating that they would be an addict. That broke my heart. And then while
Or
I was
was that was beg your pardon, was that as a result of an addiction?
yeah, they were high. They were high off of something. And this was a perfect stranger. Like I had no idea. Like I was driving home from an event. So like I'm
Sorry,
driving.
do you want to describe that again? Because I thought probably it was someone who had a physical defect, more like
Nah, this was not a physical
someone who's
defect at
paralyzed or
all.
something. You said the person
Mhm.
was bent all the way back.
Backwards. Like they were that high where their bodies were all the way back. I can't push my hand back anymore, but their body was all the way back and they were just like swaying like this. Like I said, it scared me. It shocked me. And then while I was in all that shock and awe, God or whoever was like, well, what are you going to do about it? And I was just like, well, at the time I was very nervous about doing public speaking. And I said, well, people enjoy my writing. So then the t-shirt or the design called Addiction Kills the Family was birthed. And I made it that way because there's many more addictions outside of substance abuse. We have people who are addicted to cell phones, addicted to working, addicted to pornography, addicted to eating. Like there's so many other addictions that I wanted to leave it where it was just open, just so we can have an open dialogue about the different addictions that may be affecting you. So it's definitely a great conversational piece. And a lot of people who have supported that design were people who are in recovery. And I never thought, or maybe that's just me because I would be embarrassed. I would think I would be embarrassed. But there are people who are in recovery who are proud to wear a design like that because they know the effect that it had. And addiction also affects the people who have to see the actual person going through it. So like everybody hurts. Everybody hurts. And then the design had like an image of a bear claw, that not the claw itself, but like how bears rip through stuff. And it was just like it just ripped through the entire family and there was like blood. So it was like whatever mental image that came to mind, it just it's just just wanted to set it home like we all have to do our part. And that's how I was able to do my part in just bringing awareness to addiction or any kind of addiction. So I felt good knowing that I did my part, and that's when I incorporated. That's what was the catalyst to incorporating, 'cause I don't do anything halfway. You know what I mean? I said like, I'm African American. female, and I don't want people to think that I'm just making these designs and, pocketing the money. No, it's a real company. Yes, I pay taxes to CISA, which is new state of New Jersey. Yes, I do my due diligence, and yes, I am very legitimate. And I wanted all of the customers, new supporters, to know that you are absolutely supporting a real business. And we also donate 10% of the clothing sales to Hayden's Heart. It's a charity that raises awareness for babies with congenital heart disease. So we give back. Like everything in life is about giving back. So that's pretty much why. Wow. Yeah.
Well done for that. So while you were talking about this, so this was not, I didn't think we were going to come to this part or have to discuss this, but talking about addiction, right? And yes, you identified something and say that person is high on something, and let's talk about this. At what point do we talk about the reason behind why people actually choose addiction? So, interestingly, it's also part of several conversations I've been having in recent times about how it is that there's a lot of internal turmoil going on, either as a result of a childhood trauma or even a trauma in adulthood, or probably facing life's adversity. And the easiest way to not think about or to not sit with our thoughts and evaluate what has happened, either personally or with intervention from a therapist or a coach, but the fear of the uncertainty of where that conversation could go makes us bottle it up and lean towards something that numbs the pain momentarily but destroys our lives progressively, which is addiction. What are your thoughts about the possibility of increasing conversations around sitting with the trauma or sitting with the feeling of anxiety or fear or uncertainty or doubt or loss, getting help in the moment as against waiting for it to cluster and then now keep put us in a place of a deep-seated overwhelm that makes us reach out for something to numb the emotional pain or numb the mental pain. What are your thoughts about how we tackle or begin to really have the conversation about our mental state and our emotional state from the beginning, which is what typically leads us to wanting to be addicted to something?
I want to add to that. So let's throw this in there too. How about the people who were conned into using substances, meaning like somebody put them down and made them take it. And then how about the people
Yeah,
who
they were
did
not
not
aware of
know?
that.
Yeah, how about the people who don't know that in their bloodline or whoever, if they don't know that they're adopted, how about they don't know that their family or their parents have that in their DNA to be addicted? So even a bear could make them addicted heavily. So those are two other things, variations of how people can become addicted. But to simply answer that question, everybody has to want to be healed. It's one thing if you plant the seed. We can plant the seed, but seed can't grow unless the soil is ready. And even when the soil is ready, we need to have that support system that comes alongside of us to water it. So it's just, but the first things first is people have to want to. And in order for you to want to, you have to know that it's an issue. So people can tell you have an issue. Like we all know when we have issues. But if you don't have that desire to do something about it, it's not going to be effective. Yeah, it may have little things here and there, but the weight of it may not be held as much as if they were ready and willing and able. So the conversation will only be effective if, as long as you're ready, willing, and able. And that's holding yourself accountable to a higher thing, knowing that you deserve better. How many people know that they deserve better that are actually going through things? We have to bring back love. Those are the two foundational things. We have to bring back love, and people have to be willing to do the work. That's it.
That's it. Willing. That's just it. Willing to do the work. Just like that long old age proverb, or is it an adage that says you can take a horse to the river, but you can't force it to drink, because eventually you can expose them to all the words and encouragements and knowledge that they require to grow. If they don't read it, if they don't practice it, if they don't engage it, they would remain the same. Right? So how well are we willing to engage? And well, I guess that's just a conversation that would go on, and we need to now keep just shining the light and trusting that at some point they will say, okay, thank you, you've shown the light for so long, let me hold on to that light now, right? But hey, thanks for that. But how exactly have your designs made a difference thus far in people's lives? Do you have a statistic of that, or do you have, yeah, like feedback or something? How do you measure the impact that your designs are having on people?
Every time I wanted to give up or think that it's time for me to close shop, something crazy happens or something happens where it keeps me going. Like I was wearing a Prayer Works t-shirt, and this is again early on when I was just deciding to wear everything and just promote my brand. And I happened to be walking across the street, and this woman was like, "Thanks for the reminder." Now, mind you, this woman was crying, and I didn't know who she was talking to because, we don't always fully keep ourselves aware of what we have on. We just put our clothes on and keep going. And when I got to my car, I was like, oh, I wonder what she's talking about. Then when I looked down, I was like, oh, she's talking about my shirt, the message.
What was on it?
It said prayer works. And she said, thanks for the reminder. I just said, this is why we do what we do. I believe we are creatures of absorption. If you keep on absorbing high vibrations only, and you keep seeing that message all the time, you have no choice but to elevate in your life. And maybe that will be the pinnacle to where you're like, you know what? Let me look within and see what is it inside of me? Why do I keep on doing the same things? Why do the same situations keep happening? Why am I always feeling hurt? Why do I not feel happiness? What does happiness mean? Like, what is happiness, period? Like, is it possible for me to be happy? When people start doing that research on their own, you're open and willing, and that's when you allow God, your maker, creator, whatever you believe in, that's when you actually give them access to you so that it can work through you and within you. And this is how we all end up doing our part to make this world a better place. I know it sounds cliche, but it worked because I've been living it, and I continuously have to unfold daily in order to like stay grounded. I have to allow God, my maker, creator, my ancestors. I have to allow my team to stand before me, in front of me, and through me. Because if not, I would go crazy. And I'm so proud that I recognize that. And I recognize nature. Like nature is like the most beautiful thing in the world. And once you realize nature is what sustains us, it feeds us, it clothes us, it keeps us moisturized. Like it's amazing. Trees give us breeze and shade when we need it. You know what I'm saying? Trees give us houses. The iron that grows underneath and stone that helps build foundations. Like how can you not love nature? If you pay attention close enough, you will see a blade of grass actually living and breathing on its own and blown. Like I am so in awe, and I'm so thankful that I come to realize that, and I get a chance to actually physically see it in the true color that I have and in the vision that I've been given. Like it's crazy. Like it's the circle of life. Once this flesh is gone, it can contribute to growing other things.
You know,
You know what I
it's
mean?
I'm just smiling because you're the song that just sprung in my heart was "Who taught the sun where to stand in the morning?" And I'm just thinking of how amazing creation really is. That if we just sat in gratitude and just inhaled and became more conscious and more aware of nature, we would realize that nothing just happens. We would realize that there's so much that even as humans we have to bring to this earth that we can't afford to live as mediocres. We can't afford to submit ourselves to, oh, Kese has, and what will be would be. Well, that is life. So will be
Right.
it. Hey, come on, get up and move. I believe that every human being has an atom of genius, which we have to work, which we have to prove, which we have to become, make trustworthy, which we have to now use to impact our world progressively. But then we have to work it. We have to show up to work it. Yeah. So let's bring it back now. Let's don't take me to the end of the church service already. How do you differentiate now? Yes, in all your creativity, and you also talked about the fact that you're a registered company, you pay your taxes and all of that. How do you distinguish between being creative and having a business strategy?
I've learned along the way the reason why we kind of delay ourselves, and if you want to call it procrastination or how we delay, is because we think that we can do it all by ourselves. So I understand now that that's not possible. So whatever business aspect, like as far as automation and computers and the net, I thankfully God aligned me, my team. I'll just call it that. Just in case other people have different beliefs, but my team aligned me with the proper person that can handle all of that and to catapult me into other things. You know what I mean? So we have to learn how to delegate responsibilities. You know what I mean? Like I can stay in my creative mode, but a creative person isn't going to know how to work the SEO of Google.
Yeah, yeah,
So let me stay in my lane so that I can continue to produce something that my purpose is supposed to give to the world. And let them stay in their lane so that they can do whatever their purpose is to help a company like my own grow so that it can become more global. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like I
yeah,
believe in delegation, you know, let
yeah,
people do what they're
absolutely.
supposed to do.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you. You talked about also when I was reading your bio, I there was a part where it said you engage in a lot of presentations and you do workshops and you have a quote book and all of the gamut of that. How exactly have those helped you to expand the impact of Be the Difference clothing?
So basically, remember when I told you that I was working with a Christian rap artist, right? So as a manager, I had to learn how to copyright for him to make sure that his music was protected. So I was able to use those skills that I learned to help me copyright and self-publish my own books. So I didn't have to worry about being accepted by a publisher because I became the publisher. And my company, well, Be the Difference Clothing became the subsidiary of that. So they produced the book and I'm the author. So like it's all in-house. You know what I mean? So like again, whatever tools that we all gain that we may think we can't use for future is actually the same tool that's preparing you for your purpose. So ever don't ever scorn irrelevant information because you just never know how much you're going to use it. So I'm thankful
So
that
sorry, you
I
want to
had to go
rephrase
through that.
that. Don't ever scorn perceived irrelevant.
There you
It's
go.
perceived, yes, perceived irrelevant information, yeah.
Yes, you're right. Because we don't know where it's going to take us. And I'm 5 books in. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want
Wow.
to do anymore. I don't want to do anymore. But again, and those books were birthed from personal experiences, things that I've seen, nature, things that, just everyday life. And God just, my team just spilling through me. And I'm just being obedient in writing. And, again, that may sound like a cliche, but as much as you may think it is, I'm I'm following the direction. And I know that I how I am taken care of now is because of the fact that I'm allowing myself to be used. And you can't, God is not going to leave you. He's not going to leave you hanging. He or she, whatever
Yeah.
people want to call it. They're not going to leave you hanging when you're being
So,
obedient.
so is it okay to put my hands up there? It's okay to call your God the way you call your God and address him the way you address him without any apologies. and everyone, whoever anyone worships, however they want to worship, they can address their God with the confidence of how they believe the God or she God works for them, and without apologies to it. And it's okay. I'm not. It's if whoever you worship, however you worship, I believe that we're first spiritual beings, and the spiritual rules the physical. So in everything that I do, I tie to my spirituality and my connection with God, my creator. Now, if there's anyone that says there's no God, that is their belief, and it's okay. But just as I don't want them to apologize for theirs, it's their choice. I won't apologize for mine, it's my choice. So we have to be able to respect each other's beliefs without apologizing for why we believe what we believe, right? And I don't need you to apologize for who you believe or why you believe. It's okay to express. And even if I'm going to interview an atheist tomorrow or someone that believes anything different from mine, they're welcome to share what they believe. I believe that it's just an ability to find, if we're going to work together progressively on earth, it's how to find common grounds of alignment, mutual respect, understanding that you have your choices, I have mine. And ultimately, when we ever come to the ends of this earth, we'll find out who has been living right and who hasn't, or whatever it's going to end. But being confident of what we say we stand for spiritually, I believe is everyone's prerogative, and we don't have to apologize for that. So I just wanted you to feel comfortable talking about your spiritual inclinations.
I still feel I feel like it's a whole team that's behind me. You know what I mean? I definitely I respect it all. I respect what I can't see that's protecting me. How about that? Um, but I definitely feel that if we don't connect with something that we can't see, it's not going to be possible for us to live this world, live this life, the way it was intended. I believe we're all here to help each other. And until we get to that point where we're willing to help each other and undo some of the programming that we acquired along
Programming.
the way,
Absolutely.
it seems like we're just going to be wasting space, wasting air, wasting nature.
Mm, mm, mm. Thank you. Thank you. So, hey, it's also picking from your bio where you try to, I said that you try to create diverse, you try to reach or appeal to a diverse audience, regardless of age, of race, of beliefs, and all of that. How do you approach creating the designs in such a way that it has a global appeal?
For instance, I believe we have to inspire from infancy. So I made a design that says my future is bright. It sounds literal, but I put it on a onesie where it's actually a light bulb. Again, it goes back to I believe we're creatures of absorption. So as a baby or infant sees a light bulb and you're always talking to them in the mirror like, oh yeah, your future is bright, they're gonna associate light bulbs to life being great and there's no limit. So I believe when it comes to those crucial points in life where you want to give up, something is going to spring. Like maybe you might see a light bulb and it's just going to be like, oh no, you got to keep pushing. And that is why I feel like if we can get it at the infancy stage where you're developing and you can become a more complete WHOLE person, then it'll be harder for you to be broken. Your foundation would be so deep and so strong, it'd be so much harder for you to break. So I believe that has something to do with it. Also, I work with an artist who can help. Like, if I can't draw something, they can bring my thoughts and envisions down on something that people will accept more. Because I may be creative in one way, but I'm not an artist. But artists sometimes have that viewpoint where they can appeal to somebody else's creative juices on what they would wear trend wise. So I'm always open to learning, always open to working with other people, especially always open to learning because I don't have it all. I do not have all the answers. And I always want to be able to learn and grow. If I can't grow, then what's the point of me being here?
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. You speaking about how the impact also still on the impact of your designs, right, on individuals or community. do you have any success story where either an individual or a body of people? I know you talked about the woman that saw your shirt when you were crossing the road and said, "Thanks for the reminder." That's profound. And maybe any other situation where probably a community of people where they've probably given you that feedback, or do you look out for that feedback? Do you take them? Because I believe they'll play a significant role in your, not just your business strategy, but also I believe your personal satisfaction to what you do. So are there instances where you've received such success stories from people that can witness to say, hey, these designs have had made a profound impact or significant impact in my life or in our lives?
Yeah. I mean, I speak to people, like, I go to a lot of pop-ups around the city, states, and just the conversations that come about from these designs, like, it's so individual yet so global, because once they understand why a particular design was designed a certain way or written a certain way, then they like for example, back in before Thanksgiving, there was a woman that bought one of my designs that say love. And when I explained to her what it meant, there's 7 leaves because 7 is a number of completion or perfection. Color purple's for royalty. And those 7 fundamental people in your life encompass love. And there's a mirror reflection. Once she got that, like she almost was in tears. And then she went with whoever was with her. She was like explaining it with like all this happiness. She's like explaining it to her, her friend or her mom or whoever was with her. She's explaining the design and like the joy that was coming from her and the reason why she purchased it. It's so many different instances where like designs like that, or just even a simple one that says hard work pays off. There's no specific like drawing of it. It's just in words. But the conversations that come out of it, you can tell that if it impacted one person, then it's going to impact everyone else with them because they're going to go home with that conversation. I do a podcast as well. It's called Hello Worlds on YouTube. And the amount of conversations that I've had on that podcast and the amount of lives that I've probably inspired. And I don't necessarily need to know the statistics for that because it's a very individual thing. I'm in front of a camera and I don't know how many people are watching. I don't know how many people are going back, but I do know that I filled a void that day. I planted good seed. I watered good fertile ground. Whatever I did or was able to do for that day, for that very moment, it was fundamental in the growth of someone else. And whatever they gave back to me was fundamental in the growth of me. So statistics wise, I know it has an impact. And not everybody is going to want to say, oh, I was going through this embarrassing moment in my life. And just by hearing what you said, helped me. A lot of people are not going to want to come back and say that. The bold ones will, but a lot of people won't. So I just have to believe that because I'm 10 years in and this
Oh, 10
company is still
years.
growing, 10 years in,
Wow.
the company is still growing and there's still people who are being inspired and their lives are being changed. I know it's doing something good. I know it's doing something good.
Mm,
So
mm. That's
I can't
amazing.
I can't be here without having to have done something special for a lot of people.
Well done. I really I love how you put that.
You know what I mean? Like even more recently, I've been at a couple of events and they're like, "Oh yeah, I bought from you last year." And this, you know what I mean? Like there's still stories that come back. They remember. They remember. And even in my outside of Be the Difference clothing, in my daily life, just like how I said our slogan is not just clothing, it's a way of life. In my daily life, I represent Be the Difference clothing, and how I treat people and how people leave my presence in a better way, that is part of being the difference. You know what I mean? It's not just about clothing. Every single thing that every time I wake up and walk out, I want to be as on point as possible, I'm not perfect and I do have flaws, but when I can be very what's the word I want to say? When I know I have control over myself, I want to make sure that control is adding, not subtracting, so
I didn't realize that you had done 10 years. That's something, doing business for 10 years. They say that many businesses open, the rush to open it is soon mitigated by the need to sustain it. So many small businesses sometimes pack up before 5 years and they don't reach that 5 year threshold. So how have you managed, how have you navigated and ensured to stay motivated on this journey? I want to believe that in the last 10 years you have experienced challenges one way or the other. It's not
absolutely.
possible for you not to have. What has kept you motivated to keep pushing, to keep showing up, and also considering that you're in the fashion industry and it can be competitive? How do you stand out, head above water, to keep thriving?
Because of the integrity, because of the integrity, I've seen. I often, like, in my weak moments, I often think like, man, this person is doing so much better. Like their business is like booming, like they're making all of these sales and stuff like
You mean
that.
in comparison with someone else now?
No, no, no. I'm just saying when I sometimes in my weak moments, when I look at other companies that started with me, you know what I mean, or started a little after me, and seeing how they seem to be growing, but they're not here. They're no longer here. They're no longer here. And I believe the fact that it's about humanity puts us in a different category than just all about making millions of dollars. Will this company make millions of dollars? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because
I love that. Yeah.
absolutely. Because the more I connect with platforms like yours, the word is going to grow. It's going to go out. And again, it's grassroots. So you're going against the grain. Like Be the Difference Clothing is going against the grain. Remember, people are programmed into thinking it's all about me. I don't need you. Be the Difference Clothing is all about saying it's about us. It's about how we can help each other, how we can encourage each other, how we can fill in the voids when we need it. It's about love. That's not something that's taught. So yes, it's going to take longer. And inside of me, I'm a fighter. So if you don't have that kind of, I'm going to stay here for
Resilient
the long
spirit.
haul, if you don't have that long haul battle type of thing, you're just gonna give up. But I'm not giving up because every single day there's a wow factor for someone. And if that wow factor is enough and it stands out better than that monetary, then I'll keep on doing it. Ways keep on opening. The business keeps on floating for itself. I don't ask how, I just do my part. And everything keeps coming. I do my part and everything it keeps coming. And as I grow, I don't want to grow too fast where like if I get a boatload of money, then I become arrogant. I want to grow to the point where I can grow into the money and the money don't phase me. It doesn't matter. It's still always going to be about humanity. But the money is going to help keep us catapulting to bigger and bigger arenas, more people who may, like, at the end of the day, I want to be able to reach someone and help them heal to a point where I couldn't at this very moment right today. So I want to keep growing to the point where it's like I may not have realized it, but I've invested so much in my spirituality and growing and understanding life and humanity that when the time comes, I don't have to say a word, but the message speaks for itself. Or maybe it's
Is
just
that
my
is that
thought.
one of your design you're wearing there?
Absolutely.
Oh, sorry, it says high
Absolutely.
vibrations. Yeah.
High vibrations only.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. I like that. I like that. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
man. Humanity,
So,
hashtag humanity first.
Oh
Like,
wow.
like
At
you
this point I just want to take a quick break and say, hey, let us focus on our vibrations. What vibrations are you drawing from right now? Are they high or are they low? We all must ensure that we tap into the highest vibrations ever at all points. So hey, take a quick break and we'll be back shortly. All right, let's get back on it. Hey, yeah, we're back. Hope you subscribe. Hope you clicked on the subscribe button. I'm still with Joy, and she's just giving me so much joy. Like your name is it. Your name is right. Your representation of your name, and your name represents you. Just so much joy and inspiration from what you do. I'm really glad to connect with you in this manner, and it's good to know that regardless of so many things happening in the world, there are still people that are moved to want to impact, to want to still to influence behavior and transform someone's life and support someone and give them hope right through all of it. And there were two words I saw when I was reading your bio: comfort and support. So when how do you speak particularly to these words, comfort and support, regarding your brand? How do they translate to your business philosophy? Comfort and support. What exactly do those words signify for you?
for me, it's meeting people where they are. Because, like, again, I'm speaking from personal experience. When somebody met me where I was before I started the journey of like understanding myself and going through the shadow work of, uprooting some of those things that were holding me back. Now, I'm sure there's a few other things that are holding me back, but it's not as evident and it doesn't take over my life because I've worked on the fundamental things. So I want to be a comfort to somebody who's hurting and at least give somebody reprieve if they're going through something so horrible. Again, I want to also emphasize I do not need to know exactly what is going on specifically in somebody's life. All I need to do is be there, that shoulder to lean on. I don't care what it is, unless you want to tell me. I'm not there to pry. I'm there to be there to support you, to be the brother, sister. I'm going to hold you down for this very moment. So maybe that might be a lifetime moment. So every time they go or going through something, they can remember that one time when they had that little bit of solace. And it was just like, all right, I'm at peace. And you want to keep on going back to what peace can mean for you. So it's a trickling effect. I always like to mirror it as we're all candles, right? You can be that one big candle, and as long as your light is shining and one candle can light, that candle's gonna take their candle light and light someone else's. And then again and again and again and again. And to the point where everybody's light is shining and there's not that much darkness. There's always gonna be darkness, but it's not as much. And I always feel like I used to use the Hitler um, um, example. He was one person, and look at how he affected so many.
Absolutely.
We
That
are the
I
same
never get tired of
people.
talking about it.
We're the same people. We're all
Yeah,
one person. And if he could do that, so can we.
you can. Yeah,
So like
absolutely.
sometimes people have to see the picture and they're like, you know what, that's true. That's true. So that's why I say like we're all one candle. And I don't know if my candle can light the next president who's not going to tolerate the nonsense that's going on right now, who's going to have a tribe of people behind them that's not going to tolerate it and is not going to need the monies from people that can, you know, tell you what to do after they've given their donation, but be like, nah, I raised this on my own. And the people are standing behind me, so I have to show them the integrity that I told them I was going to do. You don't know what your possibility is. So as long as we're all doing our purpose, we can grow and build and groom the next person that's going to be like the global sensation or the
Yeah,
global healer. I don't know. But
Absolutely.
I just want to keep on doing my part.
Keep
It makes me
watering, keep
happy.
watering, keep pruning,
It
keep
makes me
gardening.
happy.
Yeah,
It makes me happy. And if I'm happy, then I know I'm doing the right thing, you know?
that's amazing. Okay, final words, final words. And I'm going to be picking on that aspect of procrastination because I recognize procrastination is a big deal. It is a major silencer. It's a destiny silencer. It can silence your destiny. It's such a stifler, and there's so many people that fall into that pit of procrastination. And the thing about it is, when you've procrastinated for so long, you now even feel embarrassed to say, where do I start from? I've lost so much time. There's no point. And then you don't even want to do anything again. So, what word of advice are you going to give people struggling with procrastination, especially those that are either looking to make a difference in their areas of endeavor, business, career, family, whatever it is, but are procrastinating for one reason or the other? What would you tell them?
I would say just start and start small. Like you don't have to bake, like you don't have to try to make up for time because time is always going to be existing and time is always going to have make room for whatever you're supposed to do, right? So you have plenty of time. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't know when it ends. We don't know when our last breath is. So that means you still have plenty of time. When you wake up in the morning, we have to be very, very, very strategic in what we do with that day
Yeah,
and those
yeah,
moments. So
yeah,
whether you procrastinate or not, let that be in the past. Let it die where it belongs, in a pit hell.
yeah,
But just grow. Give
yeah,
yourself, you know
yeah,
what? And also be patient. Be loving to your own self. Be like, love on yourself and be like, and just be gentle. Because being gentle will give you like, okay, I can try this and just take one little bite at a time. Don't try to take the whole cake because that's only going to make you overwhelmed. Just go little by little. And when you go little by little, God, your maker, your team is going to come along and bring support your way. You may not even recognize it at the time, but when you reflect in retrospect to see where you were to where you are now, you're like, wow, I didn't do it by myself. There was somebody there. There were
yeah,
people there.
yeah,
And just
yeah,
love. Just lead with love. And I guarantee you that procrastination is going to melt away. Will it come up? Absolutely. Because we're living a human existence. Yes, it's going to spring
absolutely,
back up.
yeah,
But you're going to have the tools to be like, not today. You don't have that kind of control over my life today. You can try to
yeah,
creep, but you're going to have to go right back where you came from. Because
yeah,
I'm bigger,
yeah,
I'm bolder, I'm stronger, and there's nothing that's going to stop me because I have a team. I have a purpose. I have a mission that I'm supposed to accomplish. And if I don't accomplish my mission, I'm going to let down a lot of people who needed me in order for them to go. So think of it that way. You owe it to other people.
So I don't know if I'm smiling or blushing, but it's just thank you. Thank you so much, Joy, for sharing your joy, your laughter, your wisdom, your experience of business in 10 years. That's something. And for just being true to your craft and being passionate about support and offering comfort and being passionate about changing lives one at a time, one word at a time, or one apparel at a time, changing lives one apparel at a time. And hey, I dare say, God bless you. Thank you so much for what you do for your community and for humanity in extension to that. And I trust that there's so much that we've learned from Joy today. How do we reach you? What's your handle? What are your social media platforms so that those watching can connect to you one way or the other?
I appreciate everybody who tuned in. I thank you, Stephanie. I really do. I had a great time today. If you want to stay connected, please go on all the social media platforms, anything you can think of. And it's under B as in boy, T as in Tom, D as in dog, L as in Larry, L as in Larry C. If you want to support the business, please tell 10 people about us. You know what I mean? If you want to make purchases, I'm not sure that I can do overseas just yet, but you can always go on the YouTube channel. You can always support the YouTube channel. You can do super thanks. You can subscribe. The subscription does help a lot. Watch the content. All of those things help because it helps me, it helps you, it helps whoever you never know might need that information. So one last thing too, like with the YouTube, I'm so proud of this. Hello World, it was broadcasting 7 days a week, and I met 1,000 episodes in 3 years. And that was back in 2022. So like I'm super proud of that. Like I had a goal, and I tell you guys, there were days when I wanted to stop. There were days when I like I don't know what else to talk about. But
What'd you say is the name of it? The name again?
hello world.
Hello World.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
on
Nice.
YouTube, and the channel is Be the Difference Clothing. But
Okay.
either way, you can find any social platform under B as in boy, T as in Tom,
Mm-hmm.
D as in dog, LLC. Every like, share, comment helps tremendously, even if you can't buy
Mm.
something. So please
Yeah.
believe you can
Mm.
absolutely make great strides for us by just doing those things if you
Mm.
can't buy
Mm.
something.
Mm. Oh, wow. Thank you, Joy. It's been a pleasure connecting with you, connecting with you. And thank you for your warm smile, for your chair. And I'm sure you cheered up someone today already. Thanks to everyone that tuned in. Hey, go check out Hello World and also check out BTDC LLC, right? Be the Difference
BTD,
Clothing.
yes, BTD
Yes.
LLC.
BTD LLC, be the difference, okay? Be the difference. That's abbreviation, be the difference. And hey, wherever you are, be the difference. Be the difference in how you show up, how you speak to people, how you impact people progressively and positively, how you impact your world so that you are conscious and intentional about how you show up, such that when you're no longer here, there will be a legacy to be remembered in your favor or in your name, or that your children can say, hey, we have a name that someone left us to run around with. There's something that Joyce said, you said at the beginning, that it's not just all about the wealth and money, but trust. And it's also respect for the name, the believability of the name that we carry. And there is so much that we can do on this earth by just being able to build trust and build integrity, build a powerful name that is respected and that will live beyond us. And like I always like to say, that life may come with its challenges and adversity may rear its ugly head, but hey, my people say we die fighting. So no matter what comes or goes, no matter what gives in or doesn't, you never give up until you win. And even if you don't win, ensure by all means that you finish strong. And after you finish strong, if you still have the strength to do it all over again, do the same thing. Just copy and paste. Have a fantastic day. See you in the next episode. Cheers.